And we are live for a new episode of the Electrek podcast. I am Fred Lambert, your host. And as usual, I'm joined by Seth Wintram. How are you doing in this cold Friday, Seth?
It's going to be colder. I'm doing well.
Yes, for everyone that's listening right now, if you're listening live or if you're listening after the fact this weekend, I hope you're safe out there. I hope you're staying warm. And if you're brave enough to go outside, do it well equipped. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a fun one, a lot of snow. It's a fun one, but it's always fun here when you're in Quebec and in Canada, or even like you in the northern part of the U.S., where you're, the government and the local municipalities and everything are well prepared for these events because they happen often. But then when you see like Texas and like the Carolinas and places like that, they get snow that they're not used to see them freak out. It's a little bit funny, even though it's not too funny, because this one might be like a big enough one that some people might actually die from this, unfortunately.
Well, what usually happens is weird stuff like people start generators in their garage and then they kill themselves, or they're in their car in their garage trying to stay warm.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like minus 20, minus 30 stuff is coming. Like I'm Celsius, but I when you get minus 20 or something, I think the Fahrenheit and Celsius gets close.
Yeah,
to
they
each
sync
other.
back up at like negative 14 or something.
It's just nuts. But anyway, all right, plenty to talk about this week on the Electrek podcast. So we're going to talk a bit about the little Robotaxi update shenanigans going on this week. There was a lot of that going on. The Autopilot being killed in the US and Canada just earlier today. We're going to talk about the full unveil of the Volvo EX60. It's just a beast of an SUV. From Volvo, and Porsche getting the plug-in charge at Tesla Supercharger. We're going to talk about an EV camper that's, I don't think we're going to see that coming to production just yet, but Hyundai is unveiling one, and they have some good base vehicle for it back in Korea. We're going to talk about sodium-ion cells. The Volkswagen ID.4 gets a new name. Oh, that's smart. Peter didn't put it in the headline, so it's a clickbait, a little clickbait, a fun little clickbait. You click on it. I'm gonna have you to pronounce the name because I only know to pronounce it in French, and I'm pretty sure it's not the same. We're gonna talk about Aptera, and then a little nugget about Electrek at the very end of it that we're gonna discuss. All right, so the big news this week regarding the Robotaxi is that the supervisor is gone. That's the big news. The supervisor is gone. So for those people who remember, Elon said that the supervisor was only there for safety reason. When they launch in June, they're gonna be gone in the next few months. They went on the passenger seat instead of the driver's seat, by the way, for no reason whatsoever other than optics, because obviously they would be a lot more efficient behind the wheel. But to make it look better, they put them in the passenger seat with a finger on the kill switch. It's done, just about optics, but whatever. They were supposed to be gone in just a few months. They weren't. Then in early December, Elon was like, by the end of the month, it's done. It wasn't. And but now this week, only a few days before their earnings are released, they announced, Elon announced that they are removing the supervisors from inside the vehicle. Then what happened after that? A shock. The head of self-driving Robotaxi, all the autonomous stuff at Tesla, commented on it, and it had a little bit more color to it that revealed a little bit more information. He said that they are removing them from some vehicle as a pilot for testing for a while, which makes a lot more sense because a lot of people tried to get a ride after the announcement was made yesterday in one of those supervisor-less Robotaxis, and most of the people were just getting into cars with someone in the passenger seats, as usual. And then what we learned shortly after is that they didn't remove the safety monitor completely, and Elon's announcement was very specific about that, not to make him a liar, as Elon is so good with this, with the words. So his exact words, remove safety monitors from inside, quoting inside the Robotaxi. What we found out is that now they're just behind the Robotaxi. So all of these Robotaxis without safety monitors inside of them were spotted with training cars. So in this picture, it's hard to see, but you actually see two Robotaxis. There's another one right behind the first one here. Red, you see just the quarterback of it. And then you see another training car right behind it, and same from the one in front, you have a training car behind it. And the few people that managed to get those rides in those driverless robotaxi are all confirmed it that there was a training car behind them all the way through the drive. So it just means that the kill switch, instead of being inside the car, now is in the other car that the people are training it with, most likely monitoring of what's happening inside the vehicle as well. So it's let me be clear. There's no reason to do that other than optics. Like, if you're about safety, I mean, they're really calling them safety monitor. Why are they just not behind the front wheel, ready to take control if something happens? And then after a while, if there's no intervention over millions of miles, then sure, go ahead, remove them. But why just keep moving them further and further away from the steering wheel, the passenger seat, now a trailing car? I asked people on Twitter yesterday, I asked them in the comment section of my article, I'm like, give me a good reason for it other than optics. No one can come up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Tesla's thinking might be that, all right, we're going to eventually have these people in a call center. So we're going to just move them further and further away until they get to the call center.
Yeah, I mean, there's some technology behind that. Like, I don't know even. So I don't know exactly what kind of technology they're using for the kill switch on this. The cars are staying fairly close to them, like never more than 100 feet or so. So there is lag issues the further you get, depending on the technology you use. So it's a call center. Maybe they're not ready for that, but we know that that's true, because we know that there's been like a bunch of patents and job listing related to tele operation of the robotaxi. So, but until you're ready for that, just keep them inside the car. It makes no sense to do anything else, especially you're not even allowing people to sit in the driver's seat anyway. So you're not like removing a potential passenger from the equation. So you were doing that when you were moving them to the passenger seat.
Right. So wait, the passenger seat can be used though, right?
It couldn't until now. Now right. I assume that in those rides they could. This it depends. Like, because normally, I don't know if that's the case with the Robotaxi. It just shouldn't be the case because there's no one in the driver's seat anyway. But if you take control of the wheel, it disengaged the self-driving system. I've seen, like, when I was in China, some of these Robotaxis had the steering wheel blocked off completely, like, so that no one could just grab the wheel, or play with the any of the buttons on the dash. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, there's things like that can make sense, but Tesla is not doing that. So I don't know. Like, maybe they could let someone in the driver's seat and then deactivate the steering wheel. I don't know. Could be a possibility. But yeah, the bottom line on this is, like, we know that FSD is improving. We know that Tesla self-driving technology is improving. But these things don't scream progress to me. They scream just optics. They scream, like, make it look like progress rather than actual progress. Tesla is still not sharing any data whatsoever on the intervention, on the disengagement of Robotaxi or FSD. I just feel that if Tesla was truly like making, like, close to unsupervised self-driving, which is the impression that Elon has been cultivating for since 2016, really, that Tesla is just on the verge. We're so close to it. By the end of the year, every year since like 2018, 2019. So it feels like it's about that, because if it was just about progress and safety, the safety monitor would be behind the steering wheel, and Tesla would be releasing, monthly, quarterly, whatever, data about miles driven on the Robotaxi program, miles driven on FSD, intervention from drivers in the FSD, intervention in the Robotaxi. And I think this would be like great data towards progress, because sure, there is issue with disengagement and intervention with FSD in consumer vehicles, because everyone have different, standards in terms of the quality of the driving on FSD, of their what warrants a disengagement or intervention. But you could compare that then to the Robotaxi, where it's Tesla's own requirements for that with their employees that are the safety monitors. So we could get a great idea of the progress, but this is just not what Tesla is doing. Tesla is just trying to maintain this illusion of leadership and autonomy while other companies are just running with it, such as Waymo, who just announced this week starting commercial rides in Miami. Yeah, so that's like a 6th city now, and the plan to release 10 more, I think, in the US this year. So they are scaling fast, and I think it's worrying Tesla at this point, because it's harder and harder to maintain this idea that Tesla is just leading in autonomy. And I know, like, the old framing of it is like, as soon as Tesla has solved, vision only self-driving, then it's going to scale super fast. But there's just no evidence of that other than wishful thinking. And sure, the cost is lower than Waymo, but not that much lower than Waymo. And if it's not working, it's like, why would you just assume that it's going to scale so much faster? It makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. All right. Then the other thing, autonomy for Tesla this week, is the Autopilot. That's what we learned this week on Tesla Configured. To this morning, it happened last night. I was sleeping. The Autopilot has been removed from the model, all the lineup, basically the base. You need to buy FSD to get lane keep. That's the main change, to be clear, because they kept traffic-aware cruise control, presumably just because Tesla doesn't have a regular cruise control and didn't want to develop one for this. So they're like, all right, we kind of have to, keep traffic-aware cruise control, because we cannot deliver a car without cruise control. But we can deliver apparently a car without lane keeping, which is insane, because, like, you buy an entry-level Toyota, Honda, whatever these days, and it's going to have lane keeping standard, because it's arguably now becoming a safety feature rather than a convenience feature. It's arguable. It depends who you ask, but a lot of people consider it a safety feature at this point. So yeah, removing it from the standard, like, now it's not Autopilot anymore. Autopilot doesn't exist, basically, because it's just traffic-aware cruise control standard. And then if you want any kind of lane keeping, you have to buy FSD, which obviously you get a lot more than lane keeping, but you do get lane keeping on the highway, like Autopilot would basically before. The context of that change is what's important right now, because it happens just as Tesla is moving to subscription only for FSD in just a few weeks at this point, just 3-4 weeks from now, on February 14th. So it's creating some sort of urgency now that if you want, you cannot even get Autopilot right now in your car. If you take delivery right now, it's either you subscribe to FSD for $100 a month, or you buy an $8,000 package before February 14th. It's it's a bit nuts. It's very aggressive. To me, it feels like Tesla needs some money right now, needs some money in Q1, because the quarter is not looking good, and that helps boost that. But then the other idea too is, like, after February 14, where now you don't have access to the package, you just have access to the subscription, it's going to boost subscription now, because a lot of people are going to want to have lane keeping in the car. And now your only way to get that is to pay $100 a month to Tesla, which, I don't think a lot of people is going to do that just for lane keeping, unless Tesla's going to keep trying to sell you FSD as hard as they can, which has been hard. That's the thing. Like, as good as FSD is as a level 2 system, not a lot of people are ready to pay $8,000 or $100 a month to get it. You don't want to be. The argument is always like, $100 a month for having your private chauffeur, that's a deal. It's like, you don't have to look over the shoulder of your private chauffeur when you're driving them. When they're driving you, you
go to sleep.
Or you do something else. You look at your emails.
This is also like if you're getting a Tesla Model 3 or Model Y, and you used to have Autopilot, like that was part of the package. That was part of, you pay $40,000. Like, that's what a $40,000 car gets you these days. Like, you get lane keeping and stuff. Like, if you buy a Volvo, if you buy, another Tesla level car, even, Fords and Chevys have that. Tesla will not have that now. Like, you will buy a Tesla Model 3, Model Y, and unless you pay $100 a month, you get, like, do you even get cruise control?
Yeah, traffic aware cruise control. That's the only thing you get It's making the car worse. It's not going the right direction. It's going in the wrong direction. It makes no sense. And some people argue that with Elon's new compensation package, he needs to get to 10 million subscribers of FSD, and that's part of it. Is like maybe like I know Elon is quite delusional. I don't know if it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like Tesla barely has close to have 10 million vehicles on the road right now. Some of them don't have the capacity to have FSD. So let's say closer to 9 million vehicles. I think probably at best right now 15% of them have FSD. So you're really far from that. I don't think that's what gets you there. The only thing that's going to get Tesla there is if it becomes unsupervised, because in his comments announcing this too, Elon said it, that the real value creation comes from being unsupervised, being on your phone, going to sleep for the whole drive. He's right about that, which it sort of contradicts Tesla's approach of revenue recognition on the $8,000 package when you pre-buy it, because if you pay $8,000 for FSD right now, I would argue that $7,990 of that package, the value would be in delivering on supervised self-driving, which is not right now. So it makes no sense to me. Like it's just it clearly is a grift.
Yep.
All right, let's move to something that's not a grift. The Volvo EX60 was fully unveiled this week. We talked about it last week a little bit because they were, just dripping, like letting us know a little bit of specs ahead of time. But now we have the whole thing with pictures and everything, and it's looking good. We have 2 packs. It starts at 83 kilowatt hour pack, which reportedly gets 310 miles of range, which is good because this is not like a small SUV. It's like a decent sized SUV here. And then you have the 117 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is now on the other way around huge for a vehicle of that size. and that gives you 400 miles of range, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are aiming for an EPA range on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of a lucid kind of level of range here. Getting close to it at least. The charging is great too with on 400 kilowatt, 800 volt charger. You get 173 miles of range in just 10 minutes. Of course, I would like to see the charging curve too, but
I think we're starting to see like a new level from the legacy automakers, like especially the Europeans. We saw the Mercedes CLA. That's 400 miles. This is 400 miles. That's like the new thing.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think that's the Chinese, and obviously Volvo owned by the Chinese too.
Yeah.
But in Europe, Mercedes getting pressure from Chinese automakers coming into the European market.
Yep.
In China, they have 1,000 kilowatt charging now on passenger vehicles. Wow. So of course, like this breeds the competition like this, and obviously Volvo is in a different situation because it's a European automaker, but Chinese owners with Chinese production, so it's a little bit messier. But Mercedes, like you said, is a good example. I think, and we don't see that as much from American automakers, even though I think there's technology improvement here, like from Tesla, Lucid, and Rivian. But from the legacy automakers, you just don't see it as much. So you get some comparison here on the so between the EX60 and EX90, it's about 10 inches of length differential, 4 inches in height, 3 inches in width. You lose just over an inch in ground clearance, but it's much bigger than the EX40 though. So you like 15 inches longer. Not taller though. That's what I was saying. It's like it gives me almost a wagon vibe here, a station wagon vibe.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, love it. What else? So you have different trims of it. The P12 trim is going to you a 0 to 60 in 3.8, all the way to it's very good for an SUV. All the way to 5.7 seconds for the P6 version.
Still not bad.
Yeah, pretty good too. The interior, you get a nice Volvo interior. I mean, Volvo for a long time very impressed with their interior.
You know, I have to say one thing I really like is the bigger screen. One of the problems with the EX30 was the screen was really small. It was a portrait screen. This looks like it's much bigger.
Yeah. So you have a Tesla style giant horizontal screen in the middle, but you still get an instrument cluster. And I like these instrument clusters that are further out. It's like, it's not a heads up display, but it's not like a in your face tiny instrument cluster that you get in some of these cars these days. It's actually very useful. It's you see it, you see the difference here a little bit. It's really further out.
So does this thing have a third row option?
Oh, it would be a tight third row.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think you go for the EX90 if you want that.
Yeah.
You don't mention it. What else they mentioned? They mentioned you get an Orin, NVIDIA Orin chip on this. You get Google Gemini built in. That's nice. Hey, said I was driving back today. That just reminded me. I was driving back from. I just got an Electrek TV for a review. I was driving back in my Tesla, and I said something. I don't remember what I said, but like I reacted to something that I saw on the road, like someone being an idiot on the road or something, and then Grok responded to me.
What did it say?
I don't remember. I was too shocked. I was like, I didn't say "Hey Grok" or anything like that. They just responded to me, and then I asked them. I'm like, "What? How did you get triggered right now to answer?" And I said, "I'm always listening." I'm like, "What? Where? Like, I need to change these options. You know, like, it's okay if I say "Hey Grok" and then you start listening, but." Well, I guess you're already listening, but you're only listening for a Grok. And then I had a whole conversation with Grok about, okay, do you listen to everything? Do you get the information? Did Tesla get the information? And I need to do a little research on this set because they told me that Tesla get all the information. And apparently they get all the data, all the talk. They just say it's anonymized, like it's anonymous.
Anonymized.
Like they don't, yeah. Anyway,
by the way,
go back.
I think Skeptic, who commented at 405, got the same Can-Am Outlander. Is that what you got?
Oh, yeah. Electric. The electric one.
Yeah, Skeptic at 405 said he got the same one.
Nice. Yeah. I tested it in Wyoming a few months ago, and I was really impressed, but now I'm getting it in the snow for the first time, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, what else did Jamie tell us about? Oh, well, let's look at it in white here. Damn.
I think there's an
off-road looking car. Too. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's
the cross country. Yeah.
Okay. Damn, it looks good.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't look at all these pictures.
I don't think the off-road one's going to get the mileage, the 400 miles.
No. You lose a lot of ground clearance. You see it. It doesn't look like a wagon at all anymore. Look at this thing. This thing looks like a full SUV. And then you look at this and it's like, hey, is that a wagon?
Yeah, it looks like it's got some more ground clearance as well.
Yeah. So in terms of pricing, so they're just talking about $60,000 right now. That's what they're talking about. I think that's the base price, but they said they're really well equipped around $60,000. So I don't know if it's the standard is really well equipped, or if it starts lower, but if you equip it really well, it's around $60,000. That's not clear. And they said the P10 trim. So the P10 trim, that's the middle one. It's not the highest version one, but it's not the smallest one. 21 Bose speaker, 15-inch curved OLED display. It's curved. Does it need to be curved?
Yeah, that doesn't seem helpful. Like,
is it curved the other way around? Like right now, I have a display that's curved in front of me, but it's like a 48-inch display.
Yeah, I wonder if it's curved toward the driver.
Yeah. The other way, because for two passengers, it makes no sense to me. Anyway, I need to see it. 360 camera, large panoramic roof, 20-inch 5-spoke diamond cut wheels, pilot assist, standard. Pilot assist is standard. Wow, such an innovative company. 3-zone climate control, metallic paint, active suspension, 19.2 kilowatts onboard charger. Man, this thing's a beast. I'm not gonna lie.
This thing, it's pretty good.
Yeah, $60,000. Like what I said. I think Model Y is going to stay the best-selling electric car in the world for a bit, no doubt about it. It's just too far ahead. But I think as a profit center for Tesla is going to be rough now, because at the higher end, at the very profitable end of the range of the Model Y, there's just so much good things coming out right now. The EX60, which I'm sure is a little bit bigger too than the Model Y, so it's not exactly the comparison, but like the iX3 from BMW, the GLC from Mercedes, the Rivian R2 coming out, like all these things are just gonna devour the customer base for Tesla of like the full equipped Model Y long range dual motor and the performance version. I can see it as clear as day. It's not wishful thinking. It's not, I'm not a Tesla hater. It's just facts. Look at all these incredible cars coming out. All right, moving on from Porsche. You wrote this week, said nice little development for plug and charge combined with Tesla supercharging.
Yeah, so like the final form of all electric vehicles is going to be, you just plug in a charger. The chargers are all going to be connected to the internet. It'll do the handshake and the the credit card transaction or whatever. That all can happen behind the scenes. This like entering your credit card number or getting an app, all that stuff. That's just silly. Like
too many. There's too many of them.
Yeah, we have the technology. Plug and charge is the way to go. Tesla uses it. Everybody else uses it. Just got to get get the coders to do the stuff and the testing and getting it all going. But Porsche, like now, or as soon as this is live, owners, the 2026 Taycan and the Macan owners are going to just be able to go to Teslas and plug in. Now, they don't have NACS ports, so you got to plug and then plug and charge. So it's an extra plug and charge. But they don't have to do any apps, Tesla app or whatever. And some of these have credit card things. Don't have to do that either. And Porsche was early on the Electrify America plug and charge. So Porsche owners, who are used to getting spoiled a little bit, can go to probably more charging stations than anybody else and just plug in and charge, which is nice. And they also have an agreement with ChargePoint as well. So pretty easy for Porsche owners now to just plug their car in and charge. But that's where we're all going to land at one point or another.
Yeah, like most things, like now it's a premium feature for luxury automaker like Porsche, but it's not. There's no real significant cost to it, so might as well just make it standard, because especially Tesla owners, that's been the standard forever now. So
yeah, unless they go to have to go to an Electrify America or
yeah, that's the thing.
Whatever.
So now it's just not just supercharger, but for everyone.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I got a little bit curious when I saw this thing this week. So I've been saying we've needed one of those electric campers for a while now. It just makes so much sense. You just go to a camping grounds. They already have charging there. You just plug in, you charge overnight, and then you go. Especially with these kind of vans here that are like somewhat aerodynamic, and you can get I don't know about this one specifically, but technically in that form factor, you could get 300, 400 miles of range in a vehicle. Just you do that. You do like 200 miles in the morning, you charge for lunch, and then you go 200 miles and 250 miles, whatever. You're 400, 500 miles away of your destination in one day, and then you can camp in there and just go back. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah, and I love that they put solar on there as well, and I'm sure they didn't put enough solar to have like whatever, but you got that huge battery, so you're going to be fine for a while. And I did a story on a Tesla mattress. Like basically an inflatable mattress that you put in the back of the Model Y. I think I sold 700 of them or something. Like people really like camping in their electric vehicles because
and that's not it's not a bad camping situation, but not as good as this, obviously.
Yeah, totally different ball game. But it just shows people especially you're going cross country. You don't want to pay 120, 150 bucks for a hotel when you're just crashing out. It just this is, I mean, that's a different experience than this, but like sleeping in your car is
Yeah.
a great experience. And like this has a kitchen and everything, and sleeping up top as well.
Yeah, this is based on the Staria Electric, so it's the very popular electric van from Hyundai. When I was in Korea last year, I saw a bunch of them, and it gets 249 miles of range, 400 kilometers on the WLTP, so closer to 200 miles really. But this has a 800-volt system, so it's as fast 10 to 80% in 20 minutes DC fast charging. The 160 215 horsepower motor. Like, so you can still use it as a 3-row van basically, but you can fold everything down to get like a giant bed out of it. Like it's a pretty long bed, and with that, that's at the push of a button. Oh no, that's the roof at the push of a button. Okay, then you get the roof. You get the sleeping on the roof, like you just mentioned. What else you get? 520 watt solar panel on top. Not bad.
Not bad
for what you need. So 2.6 kilowatt hour or 5 hours. But like you said, you already have a big battery pack in there, so you can actually use the battery pack on this. But technically, if you use less than 2.6 kilowatt hour of energy while you're parked, so if you spend a few days somewhere and you get good light coverage, sunlight coverage, you can run a lot of things with 2.6 kilowatt hour.
Yep, including like climate control and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't know why we don't have any electric RV options here. I mean, some company did a bright drop one, which bright drop vans are really unaerodynamic. But it,
we just don't have the van. People need to come in with the vans, and then after that, like the vans get popular, and then that's what happened with this. But let me be fair though for a second, because I just read this here. So it's a concept right now, and it's under evaluation. So this year they're gonna decide whether they move this to production or not. So let me be the first to say, yeah, Hyundai, bring this to production. This looks cool as hell. There's a little outside shower too.
There you go,
man. Make this, Hyundai. Just makes a ton of sense.
And obviously Volkswagen should have made their ID Buzz into this as well. Obviously.
You know what? If it's complicated and everything to bring this to bring the van to America, it's like when you launch it in North America, launch it with this. Say right away, like this is an option. Like we launched the van, it's going to be like an expensive product. It's like kind of it's not a luxury van, but it's close to that. So like if it starts at like $60,000-$70,000, fine. Like, hey, by the way, you can put a camper with it too, and people will buy this for like $90,000. I bet. Like it's just. At first, at least, so it makes sense. Do it.
Oh, for sure.
All right, moving on. We have CATL that confirmed that in it's Q2. Yeah, in Q2, in the second quarter of this year, they're gonna put their new sodium batteries. So sodium is the next generation batteries that a lot of people are hyped about. It's divest a little bit from lithium, which is getting expensive. It's I track lithium prices because I have a few investment in lithium companies, and I didn't look it up today, but yep. So today, 171,000 per Chinese yuan per ton, which is the highest it's been since 2023, and it's triple since its low, more than triple since its low of 2025. So in the last 6 months, it tripled in prices. Like even if you're way down from the crazy times in 2021 and 2022, it's still not great because it's not stable. So it's hard to get like stable pricing out of it. But yeah. Now, sodium is the next thing, and CATL is the leader right now in that because they have a battery in production right now, and it's going to go in the JAC Ion model. So I've seen plenty of these. This is a very popular model in China. I saw them everywhere. It's like a entry-level vehicle. They're going to start with a small 45 kilowatt-hour pack in that. talking about capacity of operation between minus 30, okay, even at minus 30 or minus 40. Well, why did I mention both? Okay, the charging, okay, it can still maintain its charging at minus 30 Celsius, minus 20 Fahrenheit, and it maintains its usable capacity at minus 40, minus 40 Celsius, which is the same minus 40 Fahrenheit. So that's what we were talking about earlier. It's at minus 40 that they join back together. It still retain 90% of its usable capacity. So that's great, because everyone who knows that minus 40 Celsius of Fahrenheit in like a Tesla, you're gonna lose probably 50% of your capacity, 40% maybe at best. So mass production is going to start this July, but the production batteries are already going to be in the car in Q2. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, because that might be like the new big trends in batteries in the next few years. Just like LFP took over in China, this might be the next thing that brings the next wave. All right, we have 3 more news items to discuss. It's going to go quickly because it's not big news. So after that, we can take you guys' comments. So if you're listening live right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on LinkedIn, you can put your comment in your comment section right now. It can be a question. It can be, a topic that you want your thoughts about, and we're going to get to it in just a few minutes. All right. The Volkswagen ID.4 is being renamed. How do you name that set? Where's the name?
He goes way down.
Oh, he really? Oh, really? Oh, sneaky Peter. Sneaky Peter. Damn. All right. Okay, they still retain the ID, but now it's the ID. How do you pronounce that in English?
Taiwan, I think.
Taiwan. In French, it's Tiguan. Yeah, so Taiwan is, it's a popular SUV, internal combustion engine SUV in the VW lineup, but the ID.4 was kind of the electric version of it, and now instead of being the ID.4, it's going to be renamed the Taiwan. So they are losing the numerical ID naming scheme. It's going to debut with the 2026, at the end of 2026. So not the model year 2026, but at the end of the year, so probably the 2027 model year. In the US and Europe. For a long time, it's been like the main, like the flagship, the most well-known VW Taiwan. No, not Taiwan. All right, we had an update on Aptera this morning. Not a good one. Nope. They've been public for a few now, and we always said that it was not super on board with the going public move before revenue, anything like that. And I know it happens. I know sometimes it's your last resort. But speaking of last resort, the public offering that was announced this morning does sound like a last resort. So for those who are not aware, when you offer a public offering below the last closing price of your stock, and well below, in this case, like 20% below. It closed at $202.41 yesterday, and they announced a public offering of 4.5 million shares, so $9 million at $2 a share. That's just not a great news, because you're selling the company for less than people are trading it on the public market right now. It's just never a good look.
Not a good look.
Yeah, it means one thing. It means we are willing to give a giant discount on our valuation right now to get money. So it means we need money right now. So never a good look. And 9 million is just not that much when you're trying to build to bring a electric vehicle to market. Not impossible. I'm not saying this is the end, but this is just Scream. Aptera is having issues. And I'm not surprised, because they talked about a $60 million potential investment with US Capital Global when they went public, and it's just never seemed to have materialized. So now the stock is also trading below, at least it was when I reported this morning, like below $2. So it feels like people are not convinced about this round at all. There's also warrants that come with this investment. If they decide to exercise all of them, it would be $18 million in potential investment, which is better, which is like, I could see them making some very low volume production with that. But yeah, it's I wish them the best. I love the product. I love the idea of that product. I know it's super efficient vehicle, but I am getting less and less confident about them getting to production, even though they are, they have production intent vehicle right now. All right, lastly, before we jump into the comment section, we have some Electrek news this week. We launched our forums. We got some nice old school forums on Electrek. If you're tired of social media and want to expand a conversation in the Electrek comments article comments, you can do that in the forums right now, and it's pretty cool. So for those people who don't know, we're just like, so I know some people are like mainly like podcast listeners and they don't actually read our content. So if you don't know, we are mainly a written blog, like we are a news site for electric vehicles and reviews and all that. And yeah, we have one of the most active comment section of any news site, any tech news site. Like it's not rare that you're gonna see an article with 200, 300 comments on them. So we felt like it would be good to expand these discussions into a more formatted forum style. So if I click on this, I'm gonna have to share this tab instead. So you can take a look here at the forums. This is not the best look. Let me go a little bit wider here too. Yeah, so this you see a little bit better right there. Okay.
Maybe we should create a thing for the podcast so we can get questions all week long.
Oh, that's a good idea, Seth. We need to do that right now. All right, so we're going to have a podcast in the community section. So we have a community section. In the community section, we had podcasts. And you guys, if you... I wish these two morons at Electrek would discuss that during the podcast this week, but you don't want to join live, you can put that right in there. That's smart. We'll do that. But there's plenty of other discussions. So there's discussion between like kind of electric vehicles, specific brands that you want to discuss. You have micro mobility with e-bikes, motorcycles, stuff like that. You have a clean energy discussion. So we just launched it this week. So it's a little soft launch, but there's already plenty of discussions going on here. I see 8 minutes ago, we talked about the app for reading battery voltage. There's a bunch of already interesting discussion that you guys can jump in, and you're all welcome to also start your own threads on this and talk about whatever you want with like-minded people that are passionate about electric vehicle and renewable energy. So I think that's pretty cool. So it's electrek.co/forums. Forums with an S, or you can just go on the Electrek main page and you can see at the top, I put the Electrek Forums right there. All right, now let's jump into the comment section.
All right, at the beginning we were talking about Texas probably going out of power again, and hopefully nobody dying by using a generator or their car in their garage. I was kind of get to this, but this is kind of why power walls are nice to have. And of course, I'm sure Tesla and other battery makers will step up their advertising as soon as the snow starts.
What you should do actually, if you're one of these Powerwall or own battery pack user, if you're the only people use power in your neighborhood and you're the only one with power, you just put all your lights on and you go outside and then you take a nice picture of your dead neighborhood with your lights on, and then you sell that to these companies for marketing.
Yeah. My neighbor just got an EcoFlow. So I have Tesla Powerwalls, but my neighbor got an EcoFlow that he really likes.
Like a small one or an installed one, like a hardwired one?
It's a hardwired one. It's smart. So, it flips on and off just like a Powerwall, but it allows you to like turn like special, like if, for instance, you want to keep your fridge going, but you don't care about, some other stuff. It allows you to, with the app, say which things you want to go.
So it includes a smart switch system.
Yeah. And then the batteries are modular. So you can buy a battery and buy another battery and whatever you want. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. I'm looking forward to maybe buying a Volvo EX60 in a few years. I would have bought an EX30 if Biden hadn't screwed it up with the Chinese tariffs. Yeah, I mean, you could also say Volvo could have made that thing in South Carolina, like they made it in Brussels. I don't know why. I mean, Biden. I don't know if he was trying to do that or not. Skeptic says, "Oh yeah, this is Can-Am Outlander. I think you're going to have something similar, Fred, for a review."
Yeah, it's the exact one. So the Outlander Electric is the only electric production ATV that I know of, and like in the actual like real ATV. It's not like a toy. Like
right.
The Outlander is also a gas powered ATV that they have, so that's an electric version of it. It's basically the same thing with electric. Doesn't have the biggest battery in the world. Like, it's have like a 10 kilowatt hour battery and like a very limited range, but it's meant to be like a work ATV. And so you don't really need that much range with a work ATV. And I already tried it. I wrote an article for it a few months ago. I went to Wyoming. Yeah, Jackson Hole is Wyoming. Yeah, Jackson Hole was Wyoming. I went to Wyoming to test it out, and I really loved it. I think it's a great vehicle. Now I'm curious to test it in the winter in the snow, because it was at like 90%, 96% earlier, and it was showing me 26 kilometer of range. But I know they were being conservative, and I know that's a real 26. I'm not gonna go 26 kilometer on it anyway. There is a nice ATV trail not too far from my house, so I can actually get some decent distance with it without having to go on the road, which you're not allowed to where I'm at. But even then, I can do the whole trail. It won't be 26 kilometers.
Right. Oh, you know what? Also, doesn't Polaris have didn't they have a thing with Zero motorcycles? So they did it, not an ATV. They did one of those like little car things.
Yeah, the Polaris has it's a UTV, the Ranger.
Yeah,
the Ranger thing. Yeah, that was using the Zero. It wasn't a big powertrain, anything like that. Can-Am doesn't. I went to a place to a dealership to get the review unit delivered, and yeah, that place was insane. It's giant dealer of just fun stuff like Sea-Doos and UTVs and snowmobiles and ATVs and all that. And the Can-Am UTVs that they have, it were basically full-size pickup truck UTVs. They're crazy these days. I can't wait for these to be electric. It's back, Nikola used to work on one.
Yeah, right,
with
right.
Bosch, which was insane. It never made it because Nikola was kind of a bullshit company. But it was like I did a ride in that. They don't let me drive, and it was a ton of fun. And
yeah, they should have stuck with that thing.
Yeah, probably. Didn't need to roll it down the hill when we tried
instead of going to jail.
Yeah.
So yeah, Skeptic notes that the forums need a little tweaks. We're still working on that thing a little bit. Our partner OpenWeb, which also does our comments, is working hard on that. So those improve. Removal of autopilot has to be one of the dumbest moves in Tesla history, and there's no reason to recommend a Tesla anymore.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
Baby steps, nerds. It will all come with time. We are careful. This is progress, even if you don't know it. You're not smart enough to perceive it yet, like moving an hour hand of a clock. All right. Okay. I'm back, Darren.
So it sounds like you're on X right now. That's not the kind of comments. It's like, you just have to believe, man. It's progress. It's like they're just testing. Waymo used to do that. Like that's the thing you always hear. Like, Waymo used to have supervisor. No, not in commercial operation. That's the difference. Tesla is in commercial operation right now. People that tried it yesterday were actually paying for those rides, and yeah, it's the only question you need to, when people do what, I didn't see the guy's name there, but when people do that, what Dimebag Darren Coins says, the only one question you have to ask: why the safety monitor is not in the driver's seat? Why is it in the passenger seat or in a trading car? Why? That's the only reason you need to ask. And the only answer to that question is like optics. So even if there is progress, and I know that, like, even though it's like with 2 step forward, 1 step backward type of development with these, neural net based autonomous system, I know that over like months, Tesla is definitely progressing. My actual argument is that these, shenanigans, these deceptions actually hide real progress. If there was real progress, you would get the actual data. But That's not what you get. Instead, you get these deception about, yeah, we're removing the supervisor. You're not removing it. So why isn't the answer safety? That it's are your argument is that you're increasing safety by getting the supervisor further and further away from the driver's seat? That's the contrary. There's no. If it was about safety, the supervisor would be in the driver's seat. It's not. It's not about data collection. There's no actual safety or tech benefit to moving the safety monitor away from the driver's seat. There's none. Simple as that.
All right. I saw a few of these today when driving downtown that they're tailing so close behind the Robotaxi that there's no way there aren't additional accidents.
There's gonna be accident between the Robotaxi and the trailing, safety monitor car. It's dumb. Just put the guy in the driver's seat.
You know what they should do? I have a better idea, Fred. They get a trailer. And they put or they just, they get a trailer. Or
you get someone on top of the vehicle, like you're not inside the car, you're on top of it with your laptop and your kill switch.
Or
it's just it's cartoonish. It's and Tesla was not forthcoming about this information, by the way. It's not like, there's no safety monitor inside the vehicle anymore. Wink, wink. Look at what's trailing behind. They just announced this right before the earnings, and it's like, hey, we just made great progress. It's like, did your intervention rate go down? Did your disengagement what happened? No. It's just like we removed it and we put it in the car behind it. It's so dumb. It's just.
Agree. All right. Moving on. We saw that a certain Alex Roy said he drove Tesla across country, but I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, I don't get excited about these things anymore. Like the only thing that could get me excited about Tesla FSD and autonomy right now, there's two things. Either they straight up take responsibility for it and make it unsupervised. I'm talking about consumer vehicles here, something they've promised and sold to customers for coming on 10 years now. So there's that. So actually fulfilling the promise, that would be kudos Tesla. Years late, but at least you did it. It's great. If they can prove it's safer to humans, obviously, I'm not saying do it and then free fall. So that, and the other one is like share third-party verified data about your disengagement and your intervention rate, and show a clear improvement between them over time. That's it. Those are the two only things that get me excited about it.
All right. To move on, FSD just went coast to coast. Yeah, we talked about that. Coin guy. All right, sorry about that. Let's move on. Wow, we've got a lot of comments. All right, here we go. With more charge point operators offering NACS connections, Tesla can start to charge a monthly subscription for the right to use the Supercharger network. So a monthly subscription rather than a per usage fee. I don't think that would be popular.
Although, you want to pay for what you use. It just makes sense.
Yeah, and people don't typically use the Superchargers on a daily or weekly basis for long trips.
Tesla did launch. I don't know if they're still doing that. I never follow up on this, but I know that back in the day when they started opening up the Supercharger to third-party EVs, there was a price. I know there's still a price for Tesla owners and a price for non-Tesla owners, but they also release a subscription service for non-Tesla owners to get the same price as Tesla owners. So if you do pay, but it's kind of, I don't like that either, because then you have to make do the math. Is like, how often do I use a supercharger? Is like, at what point does it make sense for me to have a subscription? Is like, just sell it to me with a reasonable gross margin, and that's like, no need to make things complicated.
All right, this is a confusing one. I'd change Juniper to this. Working wipers, no doubt.
I think EX60, which is Juniper.
Oh, right.
Y.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad deal, especially if you're not a FSD person. Like if you were just wanting like an Autopilot, you get the Volvo has an Autopilot. They don't have FSD, but it has Autopilot. So if you wanted that, like, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than a Juniper, though.
Yeah, so I got a Mercedes EQS 2023. It has, I would call it like kind of autopilot. works enough. It's more like keep your hands on it, but it's so close to FSD that I don't feel like I'm losing anything, especially because my Model Y is 2020, so
Yeah.
hardware 3 and 12.0. All right. Question: why hasn't anyone in the U.S. reported that Kempower had their Winter Day event in Denmark, where they charged Volvo, Windrose, MB, Actros with max power over 1 megawatt? So, megawatt charging stations are here for real. I believe this is our Kempower representative.
No, maybe
commenter.
not. I think that was another name for that was like. But I mean, again, Ken Power, great tech, great product they have. Megawatt charging demonstration is nothing new, really. We've seen that quite a few times now.
For
So
trucks, yeah.
So that's why it didn't get a lot of media coverage from us, or I would assume from most other EV publications.
Send it to tip at Electrek.co if you want to.
Yeah, especially if this is Volvo Windrose, like Joe might be like Joe know more about EV stuff or commercial trucking, so maybe you get interested in it and report on it, but we'll see.
All right, Dan Overstay has kind of a controversial thing, which I don't believe in. Hyundai needs to put a small toilet in that. I'd rather have somewhere to go to the bathroom at night inside than an indoor kitchen. Don't like the indoor. I had we traveled Europe in a camper, and they had like a suitcase you would pull out with the the toilet stuff, and I told the family, like, you're not going to use that. We're just going to go outside.
But when was that?
I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know they're getting better. I know that like some people tell me about it, like they know about like composting toilet and all that. I mean, I bring this some. I used one that was actually very good in Sweden.
Oh yeah.
So we were doing Polestar ice driving. So we were in the middle of the ice and nowhere, and they put a little hut for us, and they put one of those composting toilet on it, and it was actually a very nice toilet, like decent.
Really?
Could do a number 2 on it, and it wouldn't be too bad. So it's
okay. So if they could do that and then turn it into something that you can just like let go on the road, then I'm sold.
Yeah.
But if I have to touch that thing in any way, I
don't think it was a combustion toilet, because combustion toilet was
you mean
bigger.
that.
But you also need space too, like you need privacy in the. So I don't think you get that space, that much space in that kind of camper. You need a bigger camper, like these custom ones that they do on the Daimler, on the Daimler vans and things like that.
I mean, you could just and of course bring it to the US. We agree with you on that. We're not going to dime back. You don't have electric RVs because they're expensive as hell, and really rich people don't camp. I disagree.
For sure that most people that buy like trailers buy like very cheap ones, like $20,000, $15,000 ones. That's true. That's a bigger market, but a lot of people love camping. You see these giant RVs and that. There's a market for smaller ones that are more affordable, but when you start talking about rich people, it's like, what do you mean about rich people? Because like, are you like anyone that buys a new vehicle is like technically rich in the grand scheme of things? Like it's like in the top like 20% of earnings or something. Other people are used cars, so it's always relative, and it's always depending on your lifestyle too. Like if you, they always say like, oh, if you don't make more than like $150,000 per year, you shouldn't buy like a $50,000+ car. It's like probably. Unless you're like a car guy and like if you're super geek about cars, and it will make you happy to have a car and you work on it, and you just instead of going to the restaurants, you'll just play around with your car, and that's your thing. It's like, yeah, man, do it.
Yep, agree. All right, let's move on. Rich doomers are buying end of days Sprinter vans in SoCal, but they don't want EVs.
They don't want EVs because there's nothing on the market that makes sense right now. If you buy like the Sprinter electric, the new one is getting close to it though. I think the charging is not that great, but our whole point with this, we agree that right now you're just in North America, there's not that many options for an electric van that you can turn into a camper. The Hyundai one, the Staria is the name, I think. The Staria would be one of the first one that makes sense. And it's a smaller size too, a little bit than the Sprinter, I think. Yeah, actually much smaller, probably.
Yeah, and also like, if we do get to the end of the world, Armageddon, Mad Max stuff, it's going to be a lot easier to make electricity than refine oil to make gas.
True.
Just saying.
Which is not intuitive for most people. Like most people think like, oh, if something happens, there's like no power. It's like no power, your gas pump won't work for long.
Nope. By the way, YLE, what is that?
Yeah.
News Broadcasting did a deep dive into donut financials. Alarming. The link works here. Guess it didn't.
Yeah.
Oh well.
If you send me an email if you have some information about that. That comments on there. So.
What do you think about the Chinese-made batteries having issues, including Rivian LFP, EX30 charge limit, LG China cells in Europe having problems?
LG cells, yeah, we reported on that many times on these issues. They're kind of limited on the models and everything, but yeah, I'm starting to hear more about the Rivian LFP stuff. Apparently, there's a lot of people that are having issues with the charging curve when with the LFP specific models. EX30, I haven't heard as much.
All right, more on the donut. The Estonian auditor resorted to the most severe possible conclusion as disclaimer of opinion because they were unable to obtain sufficient evidence regarding the company's financial position. Development costs of 2.6 million euros have been recorded on the balance sheet, but the company is unable to explain how or where these expenses originated.
Well, there's not enough information about this here. Like, so I know that Verge has like their EV manufacturing in Estonia. I don't know about donuts specifically. I think it's Finnish company, but obviously Finland and Estonia are really close, and there's a lot of business between the two. And again, the battery is also, I think, under Nordic Nano and not Donut. So yeah, it's would need a lot more information about this.
All right, Protokyle6 says, hey guys, what are your thoughts on the iX3 and EX60 having far better specs than R2? We don't have announced R2 specs, but how do we end up with legacy specs beating the EV-only specs like range and 10 to 80%? I mean, I wouldn't compare the R2 to the iX3 or the EX60. I mean, that's an off-road. Rivian makes like off-road vehicles. It's not quite the same. Not
It's also going to be cheaper, I would assume, too.
Yeah.
So the R2 is supposed to start around 45. Sure, the first one's going to be probably closer to 55, but like we said, the EX60 is closer to 60. So yeah, you have that to keep in mind. And also, like you said, Proto Cal, we don't have the final spec for the R2 just yet, too. So we'll I have some hope that it's gonna be more than decent.
Yep. All right. Okay. Saving my money up for a solar-powered houseboat, an RV, an FSD Verge motorcycle. There we go.
Got man, that's the dream, right? Who said that? That's that kind of guy. Man made
of CO2.
You're my kind of guy, or man made. That's the life right there. You have a houseboat, solar powered, like those nice little catamaran that they have now. That you can have a house catamaran with solar, and then you have an RV when you're on land, electric RV. With a nice little Verge motorcycle with the donut motor in the back. That's crazy.
Have you seen those catamaran houseboats?
Yeah, they're sweet.
Our colleague Peter in Berlin is one of the people that just like dives deep into that, and he's like, "Yeah, you just remove all the diesel stuff, put in batteries. You can live on that for most of your life."
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect R2? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. I think maybe just like Tesla, I think on the high end, the R2 might have some competition, but they're looking for lower. All autonomous. Polaris bought Bramo years ago.
Oh yeah, we might be confusing them with Bramo
now. Based on where Rivian is now with the R2 validation, in your estimate, what would be the window for official release? I think they've said early 2026, which is now. But these things typically don't meet their deadlines. So I would say they'll probably throw out a few vehicles before summer and then ramp up hopefully quickly.
I think they're gonna release them. I think they're gonna announce it before that. I think they're gonna there's not gonna be a configurator just yet. Probably some pricing, but they're gonna deliver to employees first. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, so we're in January and now end of January. I wouldn't be surprised if like end of March or April, they announce we start R2 deliveries, but it's just for employees at first. And then they launch a configurator, or they invite people to join a specific configurator to start getting some order confirmation in. And then, yeah, around the summer, I think you start real customer deliveries. That's reasonable, I think.
All right. Let's see. We got a lot of that. At least Cruise and Waymo use remote drivers to give appearance of full autonomy when they were starting out.
Not just when they were starting. Oh, I don't know about remote drivers. I think it's more like teleoperation that gets in, and when something happens, it's not, I don't think anyone is like fully driving remotely. It's with unless you get the lag down completely, it makes no sense.
All right. One more. Doomers aren't deep thinkers. And then we got a link to the Donut Labs.
Okay, I haven't seen that go through yet, but I'll check it out. All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Electrek Podcast. Again, I hope you stay safe out there this weekend, because it's going to be a crazy one. Very low temperature and a lot of snow. So stay safe out there. And if you do enjoy the Electrek Podcast, hit us with a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is on the app you're watching. 5-star rating on your podcast app. If you think we deserve it, it helps the show more than anything, and it takes a second to do. And we're going to see you same time next week. Stay safe out there.